Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are doing well this afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Let's see. Good afternoon. As soon as courtroom 2 is ready, we'll get started.
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. We're here.
Afternoon, Norris. Hope you're doing well.
Same to you, sir. Yes, I'm doing wonderful.
Excellent. Let me address everyone to start with. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. If you have any objection to your case being handled by video, please let me know that when you come before me. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. If you do not have a private attorney, we will be offering you the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their services. Who do we have first?
We're going to go to position number 1, Ms. Anderson.
Good afternoon, Ms. Anderson. You have been charged in case 24 CR 005615E with battery family violence and simple assault family violence. Good afternoon, Ms. Jackson. Is there a history?
Good afternoon. She has 6 cycles. The last arrest was July the 27th, 2010 in DeKalb County for theft by conversion. Just stated in that GCIC, it just said not prosecuted on December the 8th, 2014. There were no convictions listed in the GCIC. She does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR to the jail. Nothing in addition.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Estiano.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident took place on August 11th of this year. Officers responded to a dispute call at 1698 Lisbon Drive. The victim in this case is Donovan Harp. He lives with the defendant and they are dating. There was an argument. He began breaking cigarettes. She responded by throwing a bottle of cologne at him. It missed him and hit the wall behind him and shattered glass everywhere. And thereafter, the defendant bit the victim and left a puncture mark on his left hand, and the bite mark was bleeding. The defendant also tried to tell the officer that she was not the primary aggressor. However, the officer also spoke with a third-party witness who was on scene who corroborated the victim's account of what happened. And due to the victim having injuries and the defendant not having injuries, the officer determined that the defendant was the primary aggressor. Our office has been in touch with the victim in this case, Judge. He states they're in a relationship. They live together. They don't have any children. He confirmed the events in the warrant. He stated nothing like this has ever happened before. He's not in fear, and he would like to continue contact, no violent contact, and he's okay with the defendant returning to the residence. Your Honor, this defendant does have some history, but it's very old. The state's requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, no further violent contact with the victim, anger awareness course, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond, and if the court can sound for Mr. Harp.
If Mr. Donovan Hart is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Yes, Mr. Cook, any objection to any of the state's requests? You're on mute. Okay, go ahead.
We would object to the anger management course, Your Honor. Other than that, no objection.
Okay, for the battery, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the simple assault, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Donovan Hart, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Anderson.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
You go sit over there. Hey, one more time, I'm going to reset you.
Your Honor, that was no further contact of any kind. Is that correct?
No further violent contact.
Oh, I'm sorry. No further. Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 4, Ms. Cade.
Good afternoon, Ms. Cade. You've been charged in case 24CR005619C with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
There are 2 cycles. The last arrest was February the 11th, 2000 in Fulton County for a violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. There was no disposition for that arrest. She does appear to meet the criteria for UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Cassiano?
Your Honor, this incident took place on August 11th of this year. Officers were dispatched to a fight in progress call at 2186 Golden Dawn Drive. Upon arrival, the officers initially made contact with the defendant, who told the officer that her brother attacked her unprovoked after she threw away his food. He charged her and tackled her. The police, however, then spoke with the brother, who's the victim in this case. His name is Osiris Cade. He stated that he was sleeping when his son woke him up and asked him where his food was. He went looking for the food. He couldn't find it. He asked his sister. She told him she didn't know where the food was. He then found it in the trash and got into an argument with her about why she lied about throwing the food away. He said that's when his sister got very agitated and began yelling at him, picked up a chair and threatened to hit him with it, and then attacked him. The victim had several scratches on his forearms. The officers also spoke with another family member who was on scene, who advised that the defendant has MH issues and that she's been very agitated since the passing of her mother. The police determined that the brother's version of events was more credible, considering he was forthcoming to talk and because the injuries that he had matched his story. The defendant was very apprehensive to speak with police and was reluctant to provide the full story, so they determined that she was the primary aggressor. We have been in touch with the brother today, Your Honor. He states they're siblings, they live together. He states this is not the first time that the defendant's been violent towards him. But this is the first time the incident got out of hand to the point where he felt like the police needed to be involved. He would like no further violent contact, and he's okay with the defendant returning to the residence. Your Honor, the state obviously has a concern for the victim's safety here, given that he's told us that this is not the first time the defendant's been violent toward him. The state's requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with Mr. Cade, a stay away from the incident location, anger awareness course, a BHET, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond, and if the court can sound for Mr. Cade.
If Mr. Osiris Cade is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If this is Mr. Cade, you have to unmute yourself, sir. I see you there.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Can you-
Yes, sir. Judge Morrow.
Yes,
good
good
afternoon.
afternoon, Mr. Cade. Can you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes, sir.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
Yes, sir. I totally want my sister back home, but I want to make sure that there's no more conflict. I want this to end right away. So, whatever, that I need to do, to make sure, that this never, happens again. I mean, man, I'm willing to, but my sister needs to be home though, Your Honor. But this needs to stop right now today. So, man, my sister needs some counseling. You know what I'm saying, man? Just me and my brothers and sisters, we are in, agreeing. You know what I'm saying? And maybe, this time, that y'all, just have the resources. You know what I'm saying, man? Man, just get her some help, please. Because, man, my son was scared. I mean, man, I'm just tired of it, y'all. I'm dealing with my own issues, and I really can't deal with this no more. So,
okay, so you're telling me that you want her
some help, Your Honor.
You're telling me that you want her back.
She needs to be home.
Okay, so she needs to be home, but
man,
she needs
some help.
Okay, well, this is just a bond hearing, unfortunately, today, Mr. Cade, so there's a limited amount that we're able to do. So let's see, does she have any place else that she can stay if she doesn't come home?
Oh, no, man, she need to be here, man. My mom wanted that, Your Honor. She needs to be home, man. I don't feel threatened by her at all, Your Honor. But she needs some help, and this needs to stop. That is all I'm saying.
Okay, so
I don't want to deal with this no more.
All right, so how are we gonna do that? Okay, I mean, what are you asking me for?
Man, y'all can get her some counseling though, Your Honor.
Okay.
I know y'all got some classes that y'all can require her to do. I know it's something that man, that y'all can require her to go and talk to people.
All right. Thank you for being here, Mr. Cade.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir. Is this your case, Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, at 46, she's lived in the area her entire life. This home at Golden Dawn Drive was left to her by her mother. She works full-time in customer service and has done so for 15 years. She denies the allegations as stated in the warrant. She is the one, according to my client, she is the one who called the police, which is not unusual for the person to call the police to be the one that's arrested, and says the alleged victim was in fact the aggressor. We have no objection to a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate. But she needs to go home. She has no other place to go.
Okay.
And Your
Mr.
Honor,
Cook?
I'll just reiterate that I think that the victim's statements here are pretty persuasive. Seems to be an ongoing concern with the amount of violence in the household. I understand that he wants her home. However, it sounds like it's not going to be the safest option. He's asking for help. I think the best way to support this family would to be to have the defendant stay away for a while and allow things to cool off, order that she submit to a behavioral health evaluation and see if there's any resources that the court can provide her, and have her take that anger awareness course to start working on some of these issues. Because it sounds, from my understanding, from speaking with the victim's family, the MH issue, it stems from possibly grief, and it's not being handled. And I think that may be a reason why there's a lot of anger going on.
Okay, I am going to require her to get a mental health evaluation, but I'm not going to put her on the street. So it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 2, 1-day anger awareness, a mental health evaluation, and any treatment that's necessary. No further violent contact with Mr. Osiris Cade, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
He has a weapon, I don't have any weapons.
All right. Good luck to you, both Cades.
Okay, you can go back on.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who do we have next?
Next is going to be position number 18, Ms. Nelson.
Good afternoon, Ms. Nelson. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005628F with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
There are 2 cycles. The last arrest was January the 28th, 2024 in East Point, Georgia for simple battery. There was no disposition for that arrest, Your Honor, and there are no convictions in the GCIC. It does appear to meet the, that is considered as a very restrictive offense because of that arrest in January. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. Allen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is my case. This is an incident that occurred on the 11th of August at about 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. This was 2480 Welcome All Road, Southwest. EMS on scene before the police reported that one of the parties, the defendant, was extremely intoxicated. She was described as incoherent and unable to articulate what happened. The victim told police that the defendant had been drinking since that morning and they'd argued, at which point the defendant jumped her and struck her in the head. This caused her to fall and strike her head on the table. She was seen to have a bruising, a knot, as a result of this action by the defendant. And the defendant was taken to Grady to evaluate her. There is a prior arrest in January for simple battery family violence. That's not a case we have with our office yet, although it could be a bind over that we're receiving. She may have just been released on a copy of her charges. We tried to get in touch with the victim this morning, Your Honor, and haven't been successful yet. So if you could sound for Mrs. Kenyatta Hall, that's Kenyatta Hall, that would be appropriate. But at this point, we're asking for a $2,000 surety bond, Your Honor. No contact with Ms. Hall. Stay away from the location at 2480 Welcome All Road, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Ms. Kenyatta Hall is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so.
What position?
18.
Kim, is this your case?
This is my case, Your Honor.
Okay.
My client, Ms. Nelson, they live together at currently extended stay. They are on the name together. Their names are both there. However, she does not have any objection to stay away. She can just go to another hotel. They do not have any child together. And she currently has a job. She's gainfully employed at nursing home. She's been working there. She does have some college education. She went to high school and vocational school. She's been here in Georgia for the last 5 years. She didn't have her complaining witness's phone number, so we were not able to contact. I was able to send out the Zoom link to the email, but I wasn't able to contact her. So at this point, I guess even though my client prefers no further violent contact, we cannot do much about it. And we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 1. Thank you.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Kenyatta Hall. Stay away from 2480 Welcome All Road. She can go back there if necessary on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that she might have there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Nelson.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Milton at ACDC.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Milton, let me just take care of these 3 more, these next 3.
No, I just need a breakout
Okay.
with Attorney Cook.
No, I think that's Mr. Kemp. Is it yours, Jerry? I don't know.
Oh, I thought that was your case. It's B. Starts with a B.
Oh, okay. But you requested the.
Yes, I requested.
I can do that. Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So do you have a laptop or something there that you can do a breakout room, or we're just gonna move on?
Yeah.
I guess I can do it then. I don't mind doing it. Let me do it then.
Okay.
No, Kim.
Yes.
I believe the next case is yours. You
Okay.
have Calvin Reed, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. I'm about to do him next.
Sure.
Mr. Reed. Okay.
This one, I actually need to have a breakout room for his MH issue.
Oh. All right. Mr. Reed, you'll have a seat. Can we go to position number 16, Mr. Christopher Morrison?
Okay.
That'll be me, Your Honor.
All right. So given that this is Mr. McLean's case, can we put Ms. Kim and ACDC and the interpreter into a breakout room? Is that possible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So let's do that then. Thank you.
Actually, no, sir, because I have a conflict case that I was gonna try to do next. Can we just
Okay.
hold on for a second?
Okay. Well, you just let me know where you want me to go, Norris.
Thank you. This is gonna be position number 16, Mr. Morrison.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Morrison. You have been charged in case 24 CR 005624H with simple battery against a police officer or corrections or detention officer, driving while your license was suspended or revoked, failure to have a license on your person, failure to obey signs or control signals, and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor. The last arrest was July the 8th, 2023 for battery in Terroristic Threats Act and obstruction of an officer and cruelty to children, and that was out of Clayton County. That case appeared to be still pending, Your Honor. There were no convictions listed in the GCIC. Well, I apologize. Let me pull that back up, and I'm so sorry. I apologize to the courts. Anyway, there were no convictions listed in the GCIC, Your Honor. And he does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 3. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. That is my case. This gentleman is a convicted felon, actually. This is an incident from the 9th of August at 1:30 in the morning. Location is 1975 Campbellton Road Southwest. Officers saw the defendant, who was driving a white Mazda, run a red light. They initiated a traffic stop, and immediately the defendant hopped out of the vehicle. Officers drew their weapons. Once they verified the defendant was unarmed, they put the weapon away and used their taser. The defendant refused to provide his information. He refused verbal commands. He obstructed when they were attempting to cuff him. They had to use an ID scanner for fingerprints to identify this gentleman. Once they did that, it was verified that he was driving on a suspended license. It's noted that he smelled of alcohol and that he had an open container in the back seat of the vehicle. While being detained, he intentionally kicked Officer Joel Richardson in the knee. And this is described as picking up his leg and striking in a downward motion like a horse does. This defendant initially took first offender in 2010 in Clayton County on a burglary charge. He's got a conviction for burglary in 2013 out of this jurisdiction. He's got a felony drug conviction from 2018 in Clayton County, a conviction for failure to appear in 2019, an open maybe DUI, as well as that 2023 arrest for felony terroristic threats, battery, obstruction, and there's no disposition on that case. Based on the history and the behavior on scene, Your Honor, we're asking for $1,000 surety on each of the 5 counts in this case, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, and no driving.
Okay. Whose case is this?
That's me, Your Honor.
Oh, yes, Mr. McClary.
Naturally, he does agree with the no driving and the no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. He would like to ask the court to consider a signature bond or a much lower bond than that proposed by the state to assist him in being able to make his bond. He has a job, but he believes that job is lost now due to this. And so he'll be looking for a new job and looking to family to help him. He has 4 children. They are ages 13, 12, 10, and 5, so that's kind of expensive. And he will come to court, and he is local.
Okay, this will be a split bond. For the simple battery against a police officer, it'll be $1,000 good bond. For the other 4 charges, it will be a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 2 for each charge, which makes for a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and no driving without a valid license. Good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, you said 1,000 on a simple battery and then 500 on all the other charges?
Yes. 500, this is split bond, 500 signature bond through pretrial level 2.
Okay, so that's 3,000 altogether.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. You good? No. Next, Your Honor, we're going to go to position 22 and 23. It's a conflict case. It's going to be Mr. Walker and Mr. Walker. Mr. Fulton, stand on one side of the chair, the other one stand on the other side. And now sit down.
All right. Let's see. For Kenneth Walker, you've been charged in case 24 CR 005635G with battery family violence. And for Christopher Walker, you've been charged in case 24 CR 005636G with battery family violence. Let's start with Mr. Kenneth Walker. Is there a history for Mr. Kenneth Walker?
Your Honor, he does not have any prior arrests on file. He appeared to meet the criteria for UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
And for Mr. Christopher Walker, is there a history?
He has 3 cycles. The last arrest was December the 27th, 2022, in DeKalb County for criminal attempt to commit a felony. There was no disposition for that arrest, and there were no convictions listed in the GCIC. He does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Okay, Ms. Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor. The defendants are twins. They have the same birth date. This is an incident that happened yesterday on the 12th of August. Each of them are charged with a battery family violence. Police responded to the location, Your Honor, which is 199 Birchmore, Birchmore Drive in Sandy Springs. This was at 2:50 a.m. The first individual they saw was Mr. Christopher Walker. He was walking away from the scene. He had visible knots and bruising on his forehead and bloody knuckles. He reported that he was in a physical altercation with his brother, but refused to give any more details. However, he did admit to being the first person to strike a blow in this altercation and said that this altercation happened at the residence. Police then spoke to his brother, Kenneth, who reported that they had gotten into an argument about Christopher's financial problems, and Christopher struck him in the face, and they began to fight. This young man had lacerations and bruising seen on the right side of his face and his arms. So both of these individuals battered each other. They both are related and either live or formerly lived in the same location. One of them has prior arrests and the other does not. We would argue that a family violence battery is a restricted charge under the new law, Your Honor. And so we would ask for them to be SOBs through pretrial, at least level 1, if not level 2. We have not been able to get in touch with anyone in their family. Obviously, they're both adults, but we can't speak to a victim when everybody's a victim and everyone's a defendant. So we would ask for no contact and get some information about where these people live. They need to provide updated information to the court, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Okay, let's start with Kenneth Walker, who represents Kenneth Walker.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I represent Mr. Walker. Kenneth.
Oh, I think Kenneth Walker is mine, and then Christopher Walker was a conflict.
Okay.
Oh, okay. My client, Mr. Kenneth, he actually says he has been homeless, and he has been unemployed for about a month.
Your Honor,
Yes.
can I interrupt for a second? Kim actually interviewed Christopher Walker.
Oh, okay.
And Ms. McLeod interviewed Kenneth Walker.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought otherwise, but I can just change. Yes, sorry about that. There are twins.
That's okay.
So,
yes.
Okay, all right, so just so we're clear, Ms. Kim, you were talking about Christopher Walker as you were giving your, okay, so we're on Christopher Walker then. Go ahead.
yes. He graduated from high school. He's a single, no child. They were both a little bit intoxicated. However, he's been here for about 28 years. All his family is here. So we would like to request for a signature on bond through pretrial level 1 and no further violent contact. They are twins, Your Honor.
Where does he live, Ms. Kim?
Right now, he says he has been homeless.
Okay, so this Birchmore Drive address, that's not his address?
That's
No.
my client's home, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. And Christopher, will you raise your hand so I know which one you are? Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Let me get back to that. You go ahead for Kenneth Walker, Ms. McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor. The court has heard they're twins. They're 29 years old. My client certainly has never been arrested in his life. He is gainfully employed as a social media influencer, he tells me, Your Honor. He does want to have contact with his twin brother. And as Ms. Kim said, he tells me they were celebrating their birthday and they both got a little drunk. And it was a kind of a misunderstanding between them, but they have been staying together in the same cell at the jail. So if there was a situation for cooling down, it certainly has already happened since they were arrested on Sunday morning. And my client tells me they've been staying together in the jail. So I would ask a signature bond through the jail, but if the court believes that that is not a possibility, a signature bond through pretrial would be fine with no further violent contact with Christopher Walker. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, and this is actually your birthdays today. Is that right? Well, happy birthday. Okay, so.
Your Honor, Just briefly, the state would argue there's been no cooling off period if these two have been housed in the same cell. And just because people are twins don't mean there's some larger reason why they should continue to have contact. These individuals created visible injuries on each other. One of them is homeless. And so at the same time, the defense is arguing they've got strong ties to the community and their entire family lives here. They don't have a residence. It shouldn't be a problem for, let's see, Christopher, who's homeless, to stay away from Kenneth, and they both need to be ordered to have no drugs, alcohol, and weapons. I'm not sure how being in the same cell and being twins all of a sudden means you don't need a cool off period, and you battering each other isn't something that we should take seriously. It's just we got out of control as we were celebrating our birthday.
Miss Allen, if they are 29 years old, and
I'm not asking you a question. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just making a point. I heard what you said.
I understand, but and I just wanted to rebut the point that you are making. They don't have any history of any kind of violence. Sometimes when people get a little inebriated, stuff happens. And my client has indicated that he does want to have contact with his brother. And I believe Ms. Kim has said that Christopher does want to have contact with my client. These are not,
some people aren't in the best position to be judgments about having the best judgment about whether they're safe or not, especially if they've just been a victim by someone in their own family. So I appreciate your input and your argument. Thank you.
Okay. For each of you, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. I want you to have 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with each of you. You don't have any history of violence in your past, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while you're out on bond. For Mr. Kenneth Walker, if a social worker visit to assist him with housing would be of assistance, I'm going to order that. And other than that, good luck to you both. Happy birthday.
thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, my apologies. I did not hear that bond amount.
Okay, it's $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 for each of the gentlemen.
And I'm very much appreciative for that, sir.
Okay, no problem.
So are we gonna go to the break? We can go to the breakout room with ACDC and Kim.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. So, good afternoon, Ms. Chancey. Thank you for being here this afternoon. We appreciate it as always.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
So if we can, Ms. Champion, put Ms. Chancey, Ms. Kim, and ACDC into a breakout.
And Your Honor, we're gonna proceed to position number 6, and that's gonna be Mr. Gregory Cole.
Oh, Your Honor, while they're grabbing that person, could I ask J. Kim to call my desk phone 25215?
She's in a breakout room, Mr. McLean.
I'm sorry, she's in the breakout. Sorry.
Okay, you're all right. Good afternoon, Mr. Cole. You've been charged in case 24 CR 0056218 with simple battery family violence. Is there a history?
No, not really. No.
Okay, not you, Mr. Cole. Thank you. I appreciate your input.
I thought you were talking to me. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
I know you're fine, Mr. Cole. I didn't specify who I was asking.
I hope the court takes that seriously.
Ms. Jackson.
Okay. All right, Your Honor. I see 2 cycles. The last arrest was July the 18th, 2022, with the Franklin Police Department in New Hampshire for misdemeanor stalking and domestic violence, and a breach of bail and false imprisonment and simple assault. There was no disposition for that arrest, but he does have a prior felony conviction that was in 2009 out of Cobb County for robbery. Nothing in addition. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 3, Your Honor.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Tessiano.
Your Honor, I am showing that those convictions out of New Hampshire are convictions because the GCIC does list a sentence next to each one of those where he was punished. So I presume that means he was convicted. And that was in 2022, Judge. This
And
incident took.
what were the charges, Mr. Essiano? Remind me again.
It was that there's one called criminal threat against person, which I assume is kind of like a terroristic threat, taking without owner's consent, breach of bail, simple assault, false imprisonment, and stalking.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, this incident took place back in June, on the June 30th of this year. Officers were dispatched to 1421 Jasmine Parkway in reference to a dispute. Upon arrival, they made contact with the victim. In this case, it's the defendant's wife. Her name is Heidi Cole. She stated that the defendant had a dream about her cheating on him, and he got very upset with her over his dream, and he got into a fight with her. And they were arguing outside, and then they were walking inside when he grabbed her by the throat and shoved her into a clothes dryer. There was another witness on scene during this incident who actually had to grab the defendant and get him off of his wife. And the defendant fled the scene prior to the police arriving. Like I said, that happened about a month ago. The reason the defendant got arrested this weekend was because his wife called the police again. There is a pretty serious MH issue, and he was manic, and she called the police to, she said that he wasn't being violent toward her this weekend, but that he was experiencing an episode and she was trying to get him hospitalized. And that's when this warrant popped up. So we have been in touch with Miss Cole. She states that they're married, they live together at the incident location, and they have 2 children together. She said there's a medication compliance issue. There's been an issue with insurance and with him not getting his medication because of lack of insurance. She called the police not because he was being violent this past weekend, but because of the MH issue. And she states that she's not in fear of him and wants him to return back to the residence. Your Honor, the state's concern is obviously that this is someone that we can't guarantee a medication compliance, but that he grabbed her by the throat over a dream that he had. And he does have prior convictions from New Hampshire. I can't confirm if that is the same victim. If she's on the line, I'd like to ask her that. But because of his history and in light of what happened here, the state's requesting a $2,500 good bond, no contact with Ms. Cole, a stay away from the incident location, to participate in a BHET or MHET anger awareness courses, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And if the court can sound for Ms. Cole.
If Ms. Heidi Cole is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so.
Hi, yes, I'm on the line.
Okay, Ms. Cole, hold on. I need for you to activate your camera for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. Oh shoot. Sorry. I'm tapping on my, oh, okay. Can you see me now?
I cannot, no ma'am. Okay, there you go. All right.
Okay.
All right, can you
Okay,
raise your,
so,
hold on.
Oh,
Listen.
my right.
Yeah. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can place your hand down, and I want to listen to everything you have to say. So, take it slow for me so I can understand, okay?
So the charges in New Hampshire, they were all dropped, and a lot of the charges, like stalking and all of that, is because when I called the police to the home, again, it was a mental health issue. So if he has really bad PTSD, if he's not on his medication, he'll have like bad dreams. He'll wake up delusional, not fully awake. He doesn't sometimes always remember what he's doing. And we did have an insurance issue, which I've gotten corrected, and I am able to now bring him to the doctor and get him medicine. So if you let him out, that's where we're going straight to the doctor. But all of the things in New Hampshire, they were dropped. There was no charges. They dropped everything. And it wasn't even supposed to be it's supposed to be null and void. They said the stalking and stuff came into place we weren't told that he wasn't allowed back at the home. And so when they came back to the home or whatever and saw him there, they charged him with stalking and all of this and that. But we were unaware he wasn't supposed to be there. In the bond paperwork, whatever, it didn't say he wasn't allowed at home. So all
Okay,
of that
so
got dropped.
So let's talk
Um,
about this charge allegedly that happened on
Yeah, so
June
in
29th.
June, in June, are we talking about June? Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. He did not grab me by the throat, and I told whoever I talked to this morning that he just kind of placed his hands here and was screaming in my face. And when he has like a manic episode like that, I'm pretty sure he has bipolar undiagnosed, which I'm trying to get diagnosed so he can get on the proper medication and not just an anxiety depression medication. I just really basically want him to just leave and go outside and cool down. But it's always sometimes hard to convince him to go cool down when he's in that manic state. So I've had to, obviously I called 911 twice because of it. Other than that, I don't feel threatened by him. We just got back on our feet. We just got an apartment. I have 2 small children with him. I need him to definitely be here and be supportive and go to his job. He just got a really good job, and I need him to be able to be home, but medicated.
Okay, so you're telling me that he already is in treatment or he's going to be back in treatment. Is that right?
Yeah. What happened is he ran out of refills. We moved back here from New Hampshire. He ran out of refills, and I wasn't able to get insurance. There was like some hang up. I finally got insurance, and so now it's active and I should be able to go and get the medicine. I'm gonna probably have to bring him to like the emergency room with his empty pill bottles in the meantime until I can find a doctor.
Okay. All right. And you've been together since June 29th?
Yeah. And we've been together for 10 years and married for 7.
All right.
Your Honor, may I ask? Yes, thank you.
Go ahead.
Ms. Cole, thank you for being here today. You said you guys have 2 children together, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are your children?
7 and 20 months.
Okay. And do they live in the home with the 2 of y'all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when you talk about the New Hampshire case and those charges being dropped, are you aware that he was sentenced to 1 year of something?
It was just like a class he went to, and he finished it.
Okay, and he was ordered to
he was like evaluated, and they evaluated him to be fine, and he finished everything.
And he was ordered to follow any recommended treatment from that evaluation. And what you're saying is that they didn't have any recommended treatment for him?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when they did like a anger management evaluation, I think, or some type of evaluation that a therapist did, it was a therapist, a psychologist. They didn't have any further recommendations because at that time he was on his medication. We had plenty of refills. We would get a 90-day supply faithfully every time. So, but when we got down here and he ran out of refills, that's when we've had some issues.
And when did y'all move down here from New Hampshire?
September 2023.
Okay, so he's been unmedicated for a year?
No, he's not been unmedicated for a year. He just ran out of refills about a month and a half ago. And that's when,
And very briefly, can you just briefly go into what happened in New Hampshire that led to all those charges?
It was just like an argument. We provoked each other, basically overtired, provoked each other in an argument. I threw dishwater on him. He acted like he was going to lock me in the closet, but he really didn't lock me in the closet. And I overreacted and thought he locked me in the closet. It was really stupid, to tell you the truth.
Okay. And then what about the stalking charge? What happened with that?
No, the stalking comes into play is he wasn't supposed to return to the residence before his court date, and we didn't know that. So because he returned to the residence before his court date, they got him for stalking, but that wasn't actually, I don't know why they call it stalking. He was basically just residing in the home, and he technically was not supposed to be. But in the piece of paper they gave me, it never said he's not allowed at your home. So that was all dropped when I spoke to the prosecutor and the court and the judge, because I'm like, no one made us aware. If you made us aware, then he wouldn't have been there.
Okay. And you asked the court to drop the charges, and they dropped the charges?
They dropped all the charges. I didn't comply. I didn't agree with any of the charges.
Okay, and to be clear, you called the police when that incident happened in New Hampshire,
Yeah.
and you called the police when this incident happened in June,
Mhm.
and then you called the police again this weekend when he was having an episode.
Yeah, and they're all mental health episodes.
Okay, that's all the questions I have for you.
Other than, I
Ms.
mean,
Cole.
if he's medicated, and when he's medicated, he's fine. He's perfectly normal. We don't have these issues. He doesn't have night tremors and bad dreams and act delusional and not fully wake up out of his sleep.
Thank you, Ms. Cole. Your Honor, I do have brief argument. Has the defense gone?
No, they have not yet.
Okay,
Let them give them
I
the
can-
opportunity, Ms. Desiano. I have another question for Ms. Cole. Ms. Cole, when did you get insurance?
So I got it through the state, like Medicaid or whatever, and I was waiting for the cards to come in the mail, but I think that they gave it to me. I think I got it approved like around the 1st, 2nd, 3rd of August.
Okay, and have you?
So just like last week, it was like about a week and a half ago. I just don't have like the cards yet in the mail.
Okay, and did you immediately, but you could have gone and gotten, start getting the medication, is that right?
Yeah, but unfortunately with our work schedules, we hadn't gone yet, but that is our own fault.
Okay,
Well, I can't say that I could afford the medication without the insurance, though. So I could go, but because I don't have that card, I don't know if the pharmacy can look it up. I don't know. Some of the
Okay.
medication is expensive, and without the insurance, we don't have the funds right now because we're like digging ourselves out of a hole. We just got our own apartment around the same time that this happened, about a day before this happened.
all right, thank you, Ms. Cole.
Mhm.
Yes, whose case is this?
Oh, we're on, okay. Your Honor, given everything we've heard, we'd be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate. We have no objection to a mental health evaluation outside the jail. BHET might not be possible within the time he's still in jail. Then no further violent contact and strict compliance with any EMH evaluation. And that includes drug compliance. Nothing further.
Your Honor, I would just like to point out, I believe wholeheartedly that the victim wants what's best for her husband. And I wholeheartedly believe that she wants her family to be together. But some of the things that she was testifying about just aren't adding up to me. For example, she stated that he was to undergo a mental health evaluation from his case stemming from New Hampshire. She said that there was no recommended treatment that he needed based on that. But then she also testifies that he does have some MH issues, that she's trying to get him diagnosed with bipolar so she can get medication for him. She states that he has the PTSD and the nightmares and the delusions and things like that, and is saying that she wants to get him medicated, but it was an insurance issue. But then it was also possibly I can't afford it issue, and now she's got insurance, but that there's still not a medication refill forthcoming at this instant moment. Your Honor, the state's concern, of course, is for Ms. Cole's safety, and this defendant being that he is unmedicated at this time and that he's got young children in his household, even as young as 20 months old. I mean, you heard her testify about him locking her in the closet. In the other case, you've heard the allegations here where he's grabbed her and thrown her over a dream that he had, and based on her testimony that he does have these dreams and then sometimes doesn't remember. It's not just her safety the state's concerned with, it's also the children's safety, and there being an infant in the home. That's very concerning. I would ask the court to consider the mental health evaluation for sure, and then a period where he can be stabilized if he goes to Grady or somewhere for stabilization before allowing him to be returned to the home. Ideally, I'd ask for no further contact at this point to allow this family to heal a little bit and get some help. But if the court's not inclined to do that, I would at the very minimum ask that he could go to Grady to be stabilized before he returns home. Thank you.
Mr. Cook, anything
Your Honor,
further?
he would have another place to go. He could stay with his family until any mental health evaluation was and was done, and until the prescription become more available. So there would be a period where he could be away from the residence. We wouldn't want it to be through the entirety of the process of the case, but
Just need to get that medicine. You'll be all right.
Okay. So it's going to be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 4. I want him to have a mental health evaluation within 2 weeks of his release. At this point in time, no further contact with Ms. Cole until he has that MH evaluation. And he's also to comply with any recommended treatment plan and medications that is recommended by his physician. Third-party transfer of the minor children for visitation. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Once he has a mental health evaluation, and if you would like to seek a modification as far as contact goes, then you can do that at that point, Mr. Cook.
thank you.
All right.
Your Honor, for the third-party transfer, are you considering supervised visitation, or he can just have the kids? Because there's obviously a concern if Your Honor's not allowing him to have contact with Ms. Cole, and they do have very young children.
I'm not going to keep him away from his children, so he can have contact with his children through a third party. They'll have to be transferred through a third party and not Ms. Cole at the present time. So, but they're going to have to work that out.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
We work opposite shifts and he babysits the kids so I can work. So if he's not allowed to have any contact or come here to watch the kids, I'm not going to be able to work, and then I'm going to be homeless again. So this is not a good solution to me. And another thing, she said that he threw me. He never threw me. I don't know where that's coming from.
Who said that?
Well, unfortunately, they're not.
He said that he threw me over a dream. He never threw me. He screamed over me. He didn't throw me.
Okay,
anywhere.
you all can work that out at a later time. This is just a bond hearing today, Ms. Cole. Okay, I mean, I know your family's going through it, but you've got 2 small children that have to be looked out after as well. It seems like the problems that you were having before you got to Georgia have followed you to Georgia, and we have to put a stop to it. Okay, good luck to you all.
Okay. You can go to the Spanish interpreter case.
You're going to get a signature bond, so you can sign it. You can sign your way out today.
And I can't stay at home.
All right. If you can raise your right hand for me, Ms. Chansey.
Yes,
Do you swear or affirm that you will translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
yes, sir, I do.
Okay, thank you. And what position is this?
3, Your Honor.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Brigado Gomez. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005617G with simple battery family violence.
Buenas tardes, señor abogado Gómez. En su caso 24CR005617G tiene un cargo por golpes y lesiones simples, violencia familiar.
Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Hay antecedentes, señora Jackson.
He has 1 prior cycle.
Tiene un arresto anterior.
That was on December the 18th, 2023 in Texas for alien removal.
Esto ocurrió el 18 de diciembre del 2024 por retiro de indocumentado.
There was no disposition for that arrest,
No hubo una disposición para ese arresto.
and he appeared to meet the criteria for UJ or through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Y también tiene cumple los requisitos para obtener una fianza a través de la cárcel.
Ms. Tessiano.
Your Honor, this incident took place August 11th, 2024. The officers were dispatched to 1336 Wood Creek Trail in Roswell after a 911 hangup.
Este caso, en este caso la policía fue enviada al 1336 Woodtree Trail en Roswell, Georgia, a través de una llamada del 911.
Upon arrival, officers made contact with the defendant who called the police because she wanted to leave the house with her child and she wanted police to be there to make sure it was peaceful.
Al llegar la policía, se contactaron con la acusada, quien declaró que hizo la llamada para poder salir de la casa y estar en paz.
The victim is the defendant's boyfriend, and they also share a child together. His name is Mr. Luis Contreras Castillo. He told the police that his girlfriend has been mistreating him for months. They got into an argument, and the defendant punched him in the head during that argument.
I'm sorry, Contreras Castillo, is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. La víctima es el novio de la acusada, Luis Contreras Castillo, que dijo que declaró que la acusada lo golpeó en la cabeza.
The victim did not have any injuries, and the defendant admitted to striking the victim.
La víctima no tuvo ninguna lesión y la acusada admitió haber golpeado a la víctima.
Our office has been in touch with the victim today. He states that he and the defendant are in a relationship. They live together and have a child together. The defendant is currently pregnant, and he confirmed the events in the warrant.
Nuestra oficina ha estado en contacto con la víctima que dijo que ellos dos tienen una relación, han estado juntos, viven juntos. Can you repeat the last statement, please?
The victim confirmed the
Oh.
events in the warrant.
Ella está embarazada y la víctima declaró esto en la orden. Está en la orden de arresto.
He states that the parties have had verbal disagreements in the past, but this is the first time that it's ever turned violent. He is not in fear and would like to continue contact and would like for the defendant to return back to the residence.
También la víctima dijo que han habido desacuerdos verbales en el pasado, pero nunca esta vez llegó a hacerse violento. La víctima no quiere dejar de tener contacto para que la acusada pueda regresar a la casa.
The state's requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, no further violent contact with the victim, anger awareness class, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
La Fiscalía sugiere una fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio, no tener ningún contacto violento entre ellos, tomar una educación de manejo de la ira y también que quede prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
And Madam Interpreter, if you could sound for Mr. Luis Contreras Castillo.
Señor Luis Contreras Castillo, ¿está usted en la plataforma? Por favor, prenda su cámara y su micrófono. Luis Contreras Castillo.
Sí, aquí estoy.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, if you can raise your right hand for me, sir.
¿Puede levantar su mano derecha, por favor, señor?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
¿Usted jura que la declaración que dará ante este tribunal será la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad?
Sí.
I do.
You can place your hand down. What would you like
Puede
to tell the
bajar su
court?
mano.
What would you like to tell the court?
¿Qué quiere decirle usted a este juez?
Ella es mi esposa.
She's my wife.
Nosotros tenemos un hijo juntos y vamos a tener otra bebé que ella tiene en la barriga.
We have one son together, and she is going to have our daughter that is now in her belly.
Nosotros, las peleas que hemos tenido desde esta semana hasta que finalizó el problema fuerte que fue de la llamada, han sido por dinero, por cosas de trabajo y su barriga y sus cambios de humor y esas cosas.
Okay,
Pero
un momento, por favor. Well, we have had fights, arguments before, but for this week, we were arguing because of issues about money, work, her tummy, and, ¿y señor?
y hasta este problema que fue el más fuerte, que fue que se llamó al 911, pero primera vez que ella reacciona así. Primera vez que
Also because of her changes in mood due to hormonal changes. And well, we had problems that, but this one became a serious one, as she called, and that's why she called the police.
y lo que me gustaría que ella entendiera que yo trato de cuidarla y de que no se vaya con los niños o embarazada y el niño a la calle. Yo no la estoy reteniendo, yo no la estoy, más bien la estoy cuidando de que ella se vaya a pasar trabajo solo. Es mi familia y tengo que hacerlo. Tengo que decirle no.
And what I would like her to know is that I want to take care of her, that I don't want her to just leave pregnant with the children. I'm not trying to keep her or stop her from leaving. I'm just trying to take care of my family because that's what I have to do. ¿Algo más, señor?
Lo único que me gustaría que tratar un poquito de cambiar la grosería, las palabras malas y esas cosas que son las que nos llevan a las peleas, porque aquí todos pasamos trabajo y si somos parejas tenemos que apoyarnos, más nada, no molestarnos porque cobras poco, no molestarnos porque tú tuviste un problema, porque no cobraste algo más, y esas cosas son cosas de pareja y se tienen que solucionar entre parejas, pero la grosería es lo que puede dañar la relación y ocasiona estas cosas.
Okay. Well, what I would like to try is to avoid the rudeness, the bad words, because that's what causes fights. We are all working hard to fight through life, and those are normal couple problems, and the couple has to solve them. But I don't want any more rudeness and things like that.
Okay. Thank you for being here, sir.
Gracias por estar aquí, señor.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client came to Georgia on December 30, 2023 from Venezuela.
Mi cliente, su señoría, llegó el 30 de diciembre del 2023 desde Venezuela.
She is not employed.
Ella no trabaja.
So
fuera de la casa.
She graduated from high school and she does have some college education in Venezuela.
Ella terminó la escuela secundaria y tiene algo de estudios universitarios en Venezuela.
So we have no objection to signature on bond through pretrial and no further violent contact.
Nosotros no tenemos ninguna objeción en solicitar o recibir una fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio y de regresar al hogar sin violencia,
Sí,
perdón, sin contacto violento entre ellos.
exacto.
Record, she's the one who called the police.
Ella es la que llamó a la policía.
And she said that Mr. was throwing things at her, so she wanted to protect herself and her pregnant baby.
Well, she said that el señor estuvo bebiendo algo y lo que quiere era proteger a su bebé.
No further defense, Your Honor.
No a más defensa, su señoría.
Quisiera saber qué pasará después de esto, para dónde tengo que ir, qué, qué, qué voy a hacer qué va a pasar con ella.
I would like to know
Primera vez que paso por esto.
what do I have to do with this? What's going to happen with her? It's the first time that this happens to me.
Es mi esposa, es la mamá de mis hijos.
And she's my wife and the mother of my children.
Okay, this is just a bond hearing today, sir.
Esto es solamente una audiencia para sacar fianza.
It will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1.
Va a ser una fianza de $2,000 bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio con el nivel 1.
1-day anger awareness.
Tiene que tomar una clase de manejo de la ira.
No further violent contact with Mr. Castillo.
No tener más contacto violento con el señor Castillo.
And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Y se prohíbe el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
Good luck to you both.
Buena suerte a los dos.
Okay, do we need Ms. Chancey for any other cases today?
Necesitamos a la intérprete para alguien más hoy.
Necesito saber cómo pagar ese dinero, cómo lo tengo que pagar. Hoy mismo no tenemos, mi esposa y yo hemos tenido problemas monetarios y
Ok, un momento,
esto es otro problema monetario más.
un momento. What I really need to know is what I have to do, what I have to pay. At this time, we have a lot of monetary problems. We've had a lot of monetary problems.
She is getting a signature bond, sir. She'll be able to sign herself out.
Señor, ella le dieron una fianza bajo firma, no monetaria, que puede salir con una firma.
So you won't have to pay any money.
Usted no tendrá que pagar dinero.
Ni ella, porque es mi esposa y
No, usted hoy, okay, so she doesn't have to pay anything either.
No.
No,
es mi esposa, tengo que hacerlo.
no tiene que pagar.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Muchas gracias.
All
Thank
right.
you very much. Thank
You're
you very
welcome.
much. Okay.
Thank you.
Puede
Thank you.
retirarse, señor.
Muchas
Thank you,
gracias.
Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Chancellor. We appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Bye-bye.
See you next time.
FYI, Your Honor,
Yes.
I don't have the position number, so if Officer Norris can, when we do one-on-one, if he can call the positions out for me.
Okay, Milton, I got you.
I appreciate that. One-on-one, please.
Next, Your Honor, is gonna be position number 2, Mr. Nicholas Bates. In courtroom.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bates. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005616A with battery, family violence, and battery against a female who is pregnant. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He does not have any prior arrests on file, Your Honor. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Desiano?
Your Honor, this incident took place August 11th of this year. Officers responded to a dispute at 3593 Ebb Circle. The caller in this case is a third-party witness. His name is Dwayne Lindley. He called 911 because he was on the phone with the victim in this case, Ebony Bradshaw, and Miss Bradshaw was being held against her will. Mr. Lindley stated that while he was on the phone with Miss Bradshaw, he heard Miss Bradshaw scream, "Let me out of here," several times, and then heard her boyfriend scream, "No, you're not going anywhere," several times. He stated he then heard wrestling and then heard the victim yell, "Get off of me," and that's when he called 911. Mr. Lindley stated that when he actually went to the incident location after he called 911 to make sure Miss Bradshaw was okay, and he saw her run out of the house barefoot to her car. The officers made contact with Miss Bradshaw. She was very shaken up. She told the officers that she was scared for her life. She advised that she and the defendant have a child together. She was also currently pregnant at this time. She was trying to pack her clothes and leave after an argument, and the defendant told her that she wasn't going anywhere and would not let her leave. She then pushed the defendant to try to get past him, and he punched her in the face, causing her lip to bust and bleed. The victim also complained to the officers of back pain from being held down, and she was also in pain from trying to swing at the defendant to get him off of her. She was finally able to break free and ran. Your Honor, this obviously meets the criteria for a felony false imprisonment charge. We have requested this case be upgraded to a felony from the DA's office. At this time, we have not heard back of whether or not they're going to accept this case. We've also been in touch with Ms. Bradshaw. She states that she and the defendant are no longer in a relationship, but they still live together at the incident location. They have one child together. She stated that she's currently pregnant, but it's not the defendant's child. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She states this is not the first time that he's been violent towards her. This is the first time that she's ever called the police on him. She stated that she's in fear for her safety and she wants no contact and stay away. Judge, I understand this is his first arrest, but given the allegations here, the state's requesting a surety bond because I do believe that he's a danger to this victim, especially with him not allowing her to leave and the fact that she's pregnant and he clocked her straight in the face. I'm requesting a $2,500 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Bradshaw, stay away from the incident location, anger awareness courses, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And if the court can sound for Ms. Bradshaw, thank you.
Ms. Ebony Bradshaw is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Yes, ma'am. Can you raise your right hand for me?
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
Truth is, I don't want to keep him away from this kid. I just want him to stay away from me. That's it.
Okay. Is that how old is your child?
He's one.
Okay, 1 year. Okay, and that's Mr. Bates's child?
Yes.
Okay. Anything further, ma'am?
I don't have anything to say. I have an open situation with this dude from a previous case, and he's just been tarnishing my name, and he's been doing things to me back, and I've never called the police, and I just got tired. I'm just tired.
Okay. Who lives at the Ebb Circle address?
This is his home. I'm in the process of packing my stuff, and I'm leaving. This is his house.
Okay. And when do you think that you'll no longer reside there?
I'm leaving either tomorrow or the next day. I'm getting help by getting all my stuff packed up, and I'm leaving.
Okay.
I'm not staying here anymore. It's official.
Okay. I just want to make sure that he doesn't come back there while you're there getting your things, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Judge, may I clarify one thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Bradshaw, did you just say that you have a previous case with Mr. Bates?
That is correct. My client was the victim in that case.
Yeah, he was the victim over a situation that he lied about. He literally made up a lie saying that I cut him by the eyebrow. I did not cut that boy by the eyebrow. We were fighting over clothes that he threw out because I called him a bitch. And I took my same clothes and I threw it back in. There was a charger in those clothes that cut him by the eyebrow. And that's what got me arrested. And that's what happened because he pushed me down with the baby in my stomach and I had to go into an emergency C-section the next day. That's how this baby was born. But I didn't tell that though.
I think
now
so.
I'm telling.
I want to instruct Ms. Bradshaw that she's speaking here without counsel. She is a defendant in her own case.
And you're right, Ms. McLeod. Ms. Bradshaw, given that you do have a case, you have a right to remain silent, and anything you say can be used against you. Okay, thank you for being here, Ms. Bradshaw. Yes, Ms. McLeod.
Your Honor, my client is 29 years old. He has never been arrested in his life. He denies the allegations. He tells me, Your Honor, that she was leaving. He had no problems with her leaving, but she decided that she was going to confiscate his cell phone in the process and wouldn't give it back to him. And he was just asking her to give him back his cell phone. She didn't call. Apparently, she had someone on the phone, probably her boyfriend she was talking to, which was fine. And he chose to call the police. But my client denies the allegations, Your Honor. He is a victim in a case, as she has testified. She's pregnant. It's not his child or anything like that. Obviously, had she been afraid of him, the last thing she would be doing is continue to live in his home when she's pregnant with someone else's child. Not if she was afraid of him, she would not do that. His home, it's not a situation where it's she's on the lease or it's a lease. It is his home and she's living in his home, and he should not be prevented from living in his home, especially considering that he is the victim in an unresolved case currently pending in the State Court of Fulton County, where she is the defendant. So I would ask for signature bond to throw to jail. My client is okay with no further contact or with no further violent contact. He does want to be able to see his child, of course, because they share a 1-year-old. And nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. For the battery, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. For the battery against a female who was pregnant, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2 makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Bradshaw. He can go back to the Ebb Circle address, but he'll have to go back there with law enforcement to make sure that Ms. Bradshaw has already moved out. So he cannot reside there until she is moved out. Third-party transfer of the minor child for visitation, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
Can I say something, please?
No, ma'am. Your client has a he had a question.
You can call me.
I can call you?
Yes, ask them to call me as soon as you're finished. I'll be waiting for your call and I can answer your question.
Okay. And Ms. Bradshaw, the reason that I'm not letting you speak at this point in time is that I don't want you to be able to get yourself into more trouble or any trouble, given that you do have a pending case in this court. Okay, so you need to contact your lawyer if you do have one regarding any of these matters. Okay, who do we have next?
Next, we're gonna go to position number 5 in ACDC, Ms. Zoni Carter.
Good afternoon, Ms. Carter. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005620C with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
No, Your Honor. She does not have any prior arrests on file. She appeared to meet the criteria for UJR level 1. Nothing in addition.
Cassiano?
Your Honor, this incident took place August 10th, 2024. Officers were dispatched to 265 Peachtree Street regarding a domestic dispute. Your Honor, I believe that's a hotel. The victim in this case is Jonathan Kimball. He stated that he was in a verbal dispute with his child's mother because he totaled her car earlier that day. He advised that when he got back to their hotel room, which that address is the Marriott Marquis Hotel, the defendant started punching him in the face in front of their daughter. The defendant did admit to being upset with the victim after he totaled her car and also admitted to punching him in the face. We have been in touch with Mr. Kimball today. He states that he and the defendant are in a relationship. They do not live together. They have a child together. He confirmed the events in the warrant. He stated that incident location is a hotel, and the defendant has been violent with him in the past. He's called the police on her several times, but there's never been an arrest. He stated that he's not in fear of the defendant and wants to continue contact, and he does not wish to press charges. Your Honor, this is our first arrest. The state's requesting a signature bond through pretrial. As far as contact goes, the state is concerned that the victim has called the police several times on this individual. I understand she's never been arrested. However, I do think that if he's calling the police numerous times, that there's an issue and they possibly need to stay away for a period of time to cool down. So the state would request no further contact, a stay away from the incident location, and also a stay away from the victim's residence, anger awareness courses, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And if the court can sound for Mr. Kimball, thank you.
Mr. Jonathan Kimball is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Kimball. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have anybody else that can hold that baby for a moment?
I could put in her walker.
Okay, thank you. All right. I just don't want the child to be subject to what's going on here, Mr. Kimball. Go ahead.
She mentioned that I called the police a couple of times. I meant that when I was on the phone with her earlier, what I meant to say was that she called the police on me multiple times, but like it never got to his point. Like this whole situation right here that just happened, it wasn't even supposed to get to the point when the officer got involved. It was like when our argument got like in the middle of the hotel. First we was in the room, but it got in the middle of the hotel. That's when the officer got involved. I never meant for the officer to get involved, and I ain't mean for like the press charges or nothing. I just didn't want to press charges.
Okay, has this happened before?
We got an altercation where she called the police before, but it never like got to this point to where like anybody got arrested or nothing.
Okay, you all don't live together?
No, sir.
Okay, and you do you both have custody of the child?
She has custody, but I still have to get legitimized.
Okay. All right. Thank you for being here this afternoon, sir. Who's representing Ms. Carter?
Keith Cook, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Cook.
Your Honor, my client is 21 years old, has lived in the area her entire life. They do not live together. They do apparently share a child together. We are seeking a signature bond no higher than level 1. We would have no problem with any level of contact, no further contact or no further violent contact. It sounds, given the alleged victim statement, that she has been calling the police on him. So I don't know the status of the child. Doesn't sound like there's been no legitimization yet. So again, no a signature bond, contact at whatever level the court deems appropriate. And then since they don't live together, there shouldn't be any issue regarding the stay away. Nothing further on. Oh, we would object to the anger management, Your Honor. It seems to me like he may have these problems.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 day anger awareness. No further contact with Mr. Kimball. Stay away from the Marriott Marquis on Peachtree Street. Stay away from Mr. Kimball's residential address. Third-party transfer of the minor child for visitation. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Your Honor, I do not mean to interrupt. Pretrial is asking for an adult co-signer since she's 21 years of age.
Do you need an adult cosign at 21?
Yes, 21 and under, Your Honor.
Okay.
You can waive it if you choose to.
Okay, I'm gonna waive that. I mean, she seems to me that I'm gonna waive the 21 cosign.
Can
She
we
has a
please put
baby,
that
a
on?
family.
Okay,
Yeah.
can we please put that on the bond order,
Yes.
please? Thank you.
All right, good luck to you, Ms. Carter.
Next, we're gonna go to position number 8, Ms. Dixon and ACDC.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Dixon. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005622C with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
There are 5 cycles. The last arrest was September the 14th, 2013 in Bartow County, Georgia, for driving under the influence of alcohol. She does have prior misdemeanor convictions and sentences. There was one in 2014 out of Bartow County for a DUI. She received a no low contendory sentence in 2011 out of Gwinnett County for a DUI. There was one in 2009 out of DeKalb County for a non-fingerprintable offense. There was one in 2009 out of Gwinnett County for DUI.
Your
She does
Honor,
appear.
I apologize.
Okay. She does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 2. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Your Honor, she also has MH concern, so I have to ask for breakout room.
Okay. Do you all want me to hold this till the end, or do you want me to go ahead and proceed now?
May we proceed now? So ACDC.
Okay, I want to let Milton and Norris work it out for me.
Thank you.
Is that the only one you need a breakout for, Ms. Kim?
Oh, actually, I do have another one.
Yeah, I had a couple on my list that I thought may need them.
Sterling Dix.
Yes.
What about Mr. Ellaby? Do you have him?
Well, I don't have him.
Ellaby, I was just looking at that. Yes, I think that would be appropriate for Ellaby.
Okay, Norris, how do you want me to handle this? You want me to wait till the end, or you want me to do it now?
I just walked in, Your Honor. I don't know what's happened so far.
Oh, okay. Ms. Kim is wanting a breakout room on Ms. Dixon here, and then Mr. McLean needs a breakout room for one of his clients also, and I think there was somebody else there that needed a breakout room.
We're gonna put all the breakouts to the end.
Say it again?
We're gonna put all the breakouts towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah. So we keep
I
moving.
think we should add MIMS, MIMS.
All right. You all need to tell me at the top of the calendar who all needs a breakout room. So let's just make that a standard practice. When I first start in with the calendar, you all either email me or text me or verbally let me know everybody that's going to need a breakout room so that we don't have to deal with all this in the middle of court. Okay. And
Yes,
so that the jail knows who we're going to need for a breakout. That could be more efficient that way.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so unfortunately, we'll have to come back to Ms. Dixon.
Okay, Your Honor.
Next, we're gonna go to position number 9, Mr. Easterwood.
Yes, Mr. Easterwood, you've been charged in case 24 CR 005630A with theft by taking. Their history?
Yes, Your Honor, there are 32 cycles. The last arrest was February the 21st, 2024 in Clayton County for a failure to appear. He does appear to have an open case pending in DeKalb County with theft by shoplifting, identity theft fraud, and possession of use of drug-related objects and possession of methamphetamine. He does have one prior felony conviction that was in 2023 out of Cobb County for theft by taking. And he does have misdemeanor convictions. This one in 2024 out of Clayton County for driving without a valid license. One in 2022 for simple battery. One in 2019 for driving while license suspended or revoked. And there was another one in 2019 out of Smyrna, Georgia for local ordinance. And there was he received a no contendere sentence in 2019 out of Clayton County for obstruction of an officer. And there was one in 2010 out of Mississippi for obstruction of an officer. He does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR in level 4. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge, I'm also showing that he has a 2023 probation violation conviction as well. This incident took place on August 9th, 2024. Officers were dispatched to Grady Hospital. The victim in this case is April Robinson. I believe she works at the hospital. She said the defendant stole her wallet out of her bag. She stated her bag was behind her desk. The defendant stuck his hand around her desk, went into her bag, and stole the wallet. The victim did confront the defendant about stealing her wallet. He initially denied stealing it. She then told him that she wouldn't press charges if she just got her wallet back. And then the defendant went and grabbed the wallet from, it wasn't described super well. I believe he got it out of the ceiling. He hid it somewhere between a vent and a ceiling in his hospital room. Your Honor, given the defendant's criminal history, and I'm showing that he's got FTAs from 2024, 2023, 2 from 2022 and 2021. He's got open thefts. He has prior theft convictions. The state's requesting $1,000 good bond, a stay away from Grady unless seeking medical treatment, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol out on bond. And if the court can sound for Ms. Robinson. Oh, and no further contact with Ms. Robinson. Thank you.
If Ms. April Robinson is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Okay. Who's representing?
I do, Your Honor. The point I would make here is we did hear quite a bit, I understand, all candor to the court about cycles. However, it was one item here, Your Honor, and it was easy for me to get hold of the family. So he does have family support, despite the listed date of birth as being in Alabama. He is essentially a local person with local family, and so there shouldn't be any problem in his appearing for court. I did hear that there was an FTA in the past, but with all this family here, they'll make sure he's on the spot and doesn't miss court, which of course is the purpose of setting the bond when it's not a violent situation.
All right, it'll be a $500 good bond, no further contact with April Robinson, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Easterwood. And who's ever on the Zoom call that's inquiring about a Marcello Kennedy, I don't see a Marcello Kennedy on my calendar this afternoon. Who do we have next? If you've told me courtroom 2, you're on mute and I didn't hear.
I didn't know I was on mute, Your Honor. I apologize. Position number 11, Mr. Hadley.
Okay.
That was Hadley, yes.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Hadley. You've been charged in case 24CR005625D with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 3 cycles. The last arrest was December the 6th, 2019, out of Fulton County for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. There was no disposition for that arrest. He does have a prior misdemeanor conviction that was in 2019 for P&I and 2 counts of simple battery. He was recommended for UJR level 2. This appears to be a bail restricted offense. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Tatiana?
Your Honor, this incident happened September 3rd of last year. Officers were dispatched to the trauma room at Grady Hospital regarding a person who was injured. The victim in this case is Annie Hadley. She's 76 years old. She stated that she was at her residence at 811 Hank Aaron Drive, apartment 114, when her grandson demanded money from her. She typically gives him $150 to $200 a month. He was demanding more money at the incident date. And she said she told him she didn't have any more. And he punched her right in the face, busting her lip. She's a better grandma than I. I wouldn't give him any money. I am requesting, he has prior battery convictions, Judge. I'm requesting a $2,500 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Hadley, a stay away from her residence at 811 Hank Aaron Drive, apartment 114, anger management classes, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. We have not been in touch with Ms. Hadley today, Your Honor. If you could sound for her at this time, thank you.
Annie Hadley is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Yes, Mr. McClain.
Your Honor, I'm going to emphasize the date of the case. He hasn't been in trouble in the last year. That would make me assume that with the grand I would ask the court to consider a signature bond for that reason, Your Honor. The other cases were 2019, which is quite a bit of age on them.
It'll be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Annie Hadley, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Next, Your Honor, we're going to go to position 19 in ACBC, Ms. Osman.
Good afternoon, Ms. Osman. You've been charged in case 24CR005629B with 2 counts of reckless conduct. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Judge, she does not have any prior arrests on file. She appeared to meet the criteria for UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident, one moment, let me make sure I've got the right one. This is an incident that occurred on the 11th of August. It was reported at the Astor Buckhead apartment complex. That's 2900 Far Court South. Police were called in the morning by a individual who found 2 children wandering the hallways unsupervised. One child was 6, one child was 7. Their names are initials AA and AA. They were walking around the property without adult supervision. When spoken to, they said that their mom had left them alone at home and they were looking for her. The defendant arrived eventually at Hughes Spalding looking for her children and was arrested. This is a period of time between 6 a.m. and 11:45 in the morning, where these children were left unattended at the location. So we've got 2 counts of reckless conduct, Your Honor. We would recommend a signature bond through pretrial with level 2 supervision, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 32 years old. She is a U.S. citizen, and Your Honor, She did have actually a babysitter that day. Her name is Esther from Buckhead, Your Honor. She is a great, strong lady who has been very responsible. She lost her father when she was 7, and she lost her mother when she was 13 years old. However, she worked really hard to have master's degree for computer science, and she's gainfully employed at Homeland Security. Your Honor, I think that there was a huge misunderstanding. She is a victim of negligent babysitter, Amanda. I apologize. Her name is Amanda. And right now she has to be responsible for that. She's also very, very shocked that her children were wandering around without any supervision. So we would like to request for a signature on bond through jail. Thank you.
Is DFAX involved in this?
Yes, right now DFAX was contacted. I also called them, but I was not able to talk to anybody. But they had children, and then they released the children to her friend Jonathan Cannon. I verified with the officer who was involved in this case.
Okay, so for each count, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Abide by any defects, orders, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Osmond.
Next is gonna be position number 12, Mr. Ian Anthony Knox.
Mr. Knox, you've been charged in case 24 CR 005634E with driving under the influence of alcohol per se, driving under the influence of alcohol, and failure to maintain lane or improper lane change. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He does not have any prior arrests on file, Your Honor. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition.
Staciano?
Your Honor, this incident took place August 10th, 2024, around 5:30 in the morning. An officer was conducting traffic enforcement in the area of I-85 South when the officer observed a black Chevrolet failing to maintain its lane. He initiated a traffic stop. The officer could smell alcohol in the driver's breath. He asked the driver how much he had to drink. The driver told him a couple shots. He noticed that his speech was slurred, his eyes were bloodshot and watery. He did agree to take field sobriety tests and did not pass them, and then also agreed to take a breathalyzer that showed his blood alcohol content of 0.11. The state's requesting a $1,000 good bond on the DUI per se and an SOB jail for the less safe and the failure to maintain. Thank you.
Mr. Cook or Mr. McLean?
Yeah, we would ask the court to consider a $1,000 or more signature bond, as this is his first arrest. There's nothing for me to add to the facts as recited, but there's nothing about the facts of this case that would indicate any problem with making court on time. He was easily able to reach his family. They are in the process now of hiring private counsel and just had not done so by the time of court. So I court to consider a signature bond. He is, of course, local. He's been in the Atlanta metro area all his life, and so is his family.
For the DUI per se, $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. The DUI, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Failure to maintain lane, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Knox.
Thank you. Next, Your Honor, we're going to go to position number 25, Ms. Chelsea Wilson, in ACDC.
Good afternoon, Ms. Wilson. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005639A with battery family violence and simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 2 cycles. I'm sorry, she has 2 cycles. The last arrest was February the 11th. 2019 in Henry County for entering an automobile and criminal damage to property and battery. There was no disposition for that arrest. She does have misdemeanor sentences and convictions. She received first offender treatment in 2019 out of Henry County for battery and criminal trespassing. The case was sealed December the 11th, 2020. And there was a misdemeanor conviction in 2010 out of Fayetteville, Georgia, for furnishing to purchase or possession by a person below legal age of alcoholic beverages. Nothing in addition, Your Honor. She was recommended for a UJR bail, a UJR level 1, but that appears to be very restrictive. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Yes.
That's my case, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. Allen.
This is an incident that occurred on the 10th. Their charges are a battery family violence and a simple battery family violence. My reading of the criminal history was that the 2019 entering auto and criminal damage to property in the second degree was actually reduced to battery and criminal trespass, and she took first offender in that case in Henry County. So there's prior violence in our history, Your Honor. At 4 a.m, police were called to 43011 Gardner Drive, that's in Alpharetta, where the victim in this case, Alicia Allison, reported that she and the defendant had argued, and the defendant grabbed her and struck her during an argument. The victim was noted to have bruising on her arms and her forehead. She reported that they lived together. The 911 dispatch to police on the way to the scene said that the caller, while they were on the phone with 911, the dispatcher could be heard, could hear the victim yelling, "Move, Chelsea, get off me, stop." When police got to the location, they went to the unit 43011 to make contact with the caller, Mrs. Allison. Both parties were ordered to exit the location. Mrs. Allison exited the location, but the defendant refused lawful commands and refused to come out. So the police had to go inside and get her. The victim reported that there'd been incidents for the last few months. The defendant, I think there was an infidelity accusation like we see in many of these cases. The victim had gone to Marietta to get her hair done. And when the defendant began calling her repeatedly on her way home, she stopped taking the calls. So when she got home, the defendant had locked the door and refused to let her inside. The defendant was visibly intoxicated and started to push her, grabbed her by the hair, drug her across the floor. She struck her in the forehead, and she was observed to have bruising on her forehead and red marks on her arms. The victim reported that once she started to call 911, the defendant became apologetic and begged her not to call the police. The defendant was questioned, and initially she denied that there was a physical altercation, but she made a bunch of inconsistent statements when asked about the visible injuries on her, her girlfriend specifically. We have left a message with the victim this morning, but haven't gotten in touch with her. We'd ask for the court to sound for Mrs. Alicia Allison. I think she's joined us on the Zoom. Based on the prior history, we would ask for a $4,000 surety bond, Your Honor. That's $2,000 on each count. No contact with Alicia Allison and a stay away from the location. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
If Ms. Alicia Allison is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Let's see, I see an Alicia there. If you, of course, you do not have to if you don't want to, but if you do, this is your opportunity. Okay, Mr. McLean, is this your case? Oh, Ms. Kim?
This is my case, Your Honor. Miss Wilson is 34 years old, and Your Honor, she had pre-first tribunal for the violent contact. However, since we cannot contact her, we are okay with stay away and also no further contact with her. She's gainfully employed as a bartender, Your Honor. She does have some college education, Georgia perimeter. It seems like her parents are here on the Zoom. She does have a family locally, and she is from Georgia. We would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial, as she is recommended so for level 1. Thank you.
Okay, for the battery, it'll be a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. The simple battery, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Alicia Allison. Stay away from the Gardner Drive address. I didn't hear that it was necessary, but if necessary, a one-time escort by police to retrieve any belongings that might be there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Wilson.
You're finished. Your Honor, may I be excused? I'm gonna take them back and I will bring back Ms. Dixon.
Okay, thank you. Who do we have next?
Next, Your Honor, this is gonna be position number 13, Mr. McKinney.
That'll be me, Your Honor.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. McKinney. You've been charged in case 24 CR 0055848 with theft by shoplifting. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 5 cycles. Oh, I am so sorry. The last arrest, I apologize, Your Honor. The last arrest was June the 9th, 2021, out of Texas for an assault. It says felony. That charge was dismissed on August the 29th, 2022. In addition to that, he appears to have an outstanding hold out of Cartersville, Georgia for theft by shoplifting. The date on that warrant is August the 6th, 2024. It does have one misdemeanor conviction. It's in 2021 out of Nevada for domestic battery. He does appear to meet the criteria for a UJ or a level 1. Nothing in addition.
Ms. Allen?
Yes, Your Honor, that's my case. My understanding that this was a reset from Saturday. This is a incident that occurred on June the 25th. No, excuse me, July the 2nd of this year. The defendant already has a $2,500 surety bond, I believe. We require and request that he be ordered to stay away from the Home Depot at 6400 Peachtree Dunwoody Road in Sandy Springs. It's reported that on July the 2nd, he and an accomplice who was not named in the documents that I reviewed came together to that location and left in a car from the same location. The items taken attributed to Mr. McKinney total $439, Your Honor. He stole a nailer, a roofing nailer, as well as one of the large buckets that you get from Home Depot. That's all.
If it was already heard on Saturday, why is it back on my calendar?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It was charged, and it looks like he received maybe a bond back in Sandy Springs, maybe bind over.
Okay. Ms. McLean?
I would agree that it's likely that was the bind over bond at the time. Your Honor, he has local family. He's local himself, born in Decatur, lives in Atlanta. Despite the fact that he has occasionally in the past lived in other places. I would ask the court to consider a signature bond or a lowering of that bond if that was the bond that came over from the bind over. I can't see any reasons why he would not make court. We've been in touch with his mother and the family. Let's see, he's got he also has other friends and family that were relatively easy to reach. So I don't think he'll miss court. We had a heart about he works, Your Honor, at the airport in baggage handling, and we had a heart about, you're really endangering and jeopardizing your career when you get accused of theft and you're handling property. So I think that maybe an impression has been made and that this will get resolved.
Okay, I understand it was or is a bind over, and I just thought I heard that he was heard on Saturday's calendar or supposed to be heard on Saturday's.
My understanding was that it was a reset, Your Honor. It was already charged when I got it and reviewed it this
Okay.
morning.
So we don't know. Say it again.
It was a medical reset.
Oh, a medical reset. Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you. All right. I'm going to release him to that Cartersville hole. So it'll be a $5,000 SOB through pretrial level 2. Stay away from the Home Depot at that location, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. McKinney.
Thank you so much.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 14, Mr. Antoine Miller.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Miller. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005623E with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, he has 28 cycles. The last arrest was May the 18th, 2024, out of DeKalb County for giving false information to an officer. He does appear to have open cases pending, the one out of DeKalb County for giving false information to an officer. And there's one out of Fulton County for criminal trespassing. That case number is 24 MAGC 00749. That's another case out of Fulton County for criminal trespassing. That case number is 24 MAGC 00843. And he does have a prior misdemeanor conviction that was in 2023 out of DeKalb County for criminal trespassing. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Desiano?
Your Honor, this incident took place August 10th of this year at the North Springs MARTA station at 7010 Peachtree Dunwoody Road. The defendant was sleeping on the station platform. He was issued a permanent ban from MARTA on May 10th of 2022. Your Honor, the two cases that pretrial was speaking about are cases involving MARTA and criminal trespass. It's my understanding that the defendant was released to PAD for both of those cases. In addition to those two cases, he does have an arrest after that from March 28th of this year, trespassing at MARTA. In addition to, other than this year's cases, we have 4 other cases where he was trespassing at MARTA. Judge, Your Honors, ordered him to stay away from MARTA as early as April 11th of 2022. Judge Williams has ordered him to stay away. Judge Law has ordered him to stay away. Judge Mincy has ordered him to stay away. He's working with PAD. I don't know what else we can really do to get him to stay away from MARTA, which is, of course, the ultimate goal. Your Honor, he has a $1,000 surety bond already. I would ask that the court leave that in place. And a 7th stay away from MARTA. Thank you.
So this, Ms. Desiano, so the ones that he was referred to PAD, does he have anything else that's open in state court?
No, he does not. His latest criminal trespass was from March of this year, which was not referred to PAD. That was 24 CR 001196. That's a guilty plea. And his other 5 cases besides the 2 PAD cases were all guilty pleas as well.
Okay, and he got time served? Most likely, I would.
I know the most recent one, Judge, it was, but I didn't look up the other 5.
Okay, no,
I looked up the bonds, but not the sentences.
Okay, you're fine, Ms. Desiano.
Thank you.
What are we gonna do, Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, if he'll just, if this is, if there's nothing else open, if he'll just cooperate with PAD, this could be the time when he connects. It's obviously a problem. There's no gainsaying that. It's just a matter of, I understand he hasn't followed up with Pad, so if he can follow up with Pad, this could be his last chance. We would ask court to consider that.
Well, I'm not going to
Judge,
just.
some of his dates of arrest, Your Honor, they're 2 days apart. I mean, he's literally getting out of jail and going directly back to MARTA.
Right. We need to. It's going to be a $500 good bond, Mr. McLean. And the SAP reset date is going to be August 27th. So if we can have a PAD representative, social worker visit, or something of that nature, we need to figure out a way to assist him so that he doesn't keep going back to MARTA and keep getting himself arrested.
Understood, Your Honor.
All right. Of course, stay away from MARTA and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Miller.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 17, Mr. William Mosley.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mosley. You've been charged in case 24CR005626Y with simple battery, family violence, and obstructing or hindering persons making an emergency telephone call. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
He has 3 cycles. The last arrest was October the 20th, 2006, with the City of Atlanta Police Department for a DUI. There was no disposition for that arrest. He does meet the criteria for UJR through the jail. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that occurred in June. So police report made after a violent assault, arrest warrant issued, and the defendant just picked up. The incident date is June the 29th of 2024 at about 11:40 a.m. Police were called to 3655 Habersham Road, apartment A 206. The victim in this case is Paola, Paola, last name Duenas, Duenas. She was visibly upset on scene. And frankly, in crisis. She reported that the defendant had just headbutted her. She'd spent the night away at a boss's house. And when she came back, the defendant was intoxicated and aggressive and didn't want to let her into the house. That's when he headbutted her. When she tried to call 911, he grabbed her phone, hung it up forcefully. She was seen to have bruising on her upper leg that she reported was from a sexual assault. I would note that a domestic violence investigator reviewed this case, reviewed the body cam, and I think has made contact with the victim in that capacity. She was seen to have cuts on her wrist and was in a crisis at the time. She was transported to Grady. They appeared to be self-inflicted, Your Honor. There was a prior incident that she reported on scene about, and police verified that there had been prior calls to 911 regarding violence by this defendant, and corroborated her version of events. She was seen to be absolutely hysterical on scene and in need of care. I would note that although the defendant's prior history is not recent, it is related to substance abuse, which is also indicated in this report, Your Honor. For that reason, we're going to ask for a $4,000 surety bond. That's $2,000 on each charge. Stay away from the location. Again, that's 3655 Habersham Road, apartment A 206. Have no contact with the victim, Mrs. Duenas, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. We did try to reach out to Ms. Duenas and leave her a message through the language link today. She is a Spanish-speaking victim. We have not heard back yet, but if the court would sound for her, that would be appropriate. Thank you.
Okay, if Ms. Duenas is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, I think 3655 might be his place rather than hers. I don't believe there's any togetherness now. They're not together. They're not a couple. This was back in June, and I don't think she's around at all. So there wouldn't, that might need to be confirmed, but if I have what is correct, then there's been no contact and there won't be any. Your Honor, he does have a bachelor's degree from college in Asheville, North Carolina, Mars Hill University. He has businesses. I contacted the lawyer that he thought he would use on this, but that lawyer was running out of the office to another matter. And so I thought there was probably a 50-50 chance that he would be able to show up on Zoom today, and he is not. I contacted the law office again and said, well, we gave him the message. So his not being here is neither here nor there, but he will be private practice counsel to follow through. The other comment I would make, Your Honor, is that if the last thing was in 2006, the court would be justified in considering a signature bond. We understand the seriousness of the charges, but there shouldn't be any problem with him having businesses. He's certainly not going to be skipping court or anything as foolish as that. Thank you.
Okay, for the simple battery, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, obstruction, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Duenas. Let's see, he can have a one-time escort, police escort to the Habersham Road address. If the alleged victim is living there, then he necessarily cannot. If she is not, then he can reside there. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Okay, good luck to you, sir.
Yeah, he's gonna do something. He's gonna do something. Your Honor, we got one more person that doesn't need a breakout. I'm just waiting for the roving officer to log on. Actually, no, we can go to position 21. My apologies, Mr. Tyler, Murphy Tyler.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tyler. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005633E with criminal trespass and 2 counts of willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, he has 22 cycles. The last arrest was July the 22nd, 2024, for a probation violation in DeKalb County. He does appear to have an open case pending in DeKalb County for theft by shoplifting and criminal trespassing. And he does have multiple open probation cases. One in DeKalb County for criminal trespassing. That disposition date was May the 24th, 2024, and the term is for 12 months. And one in Fulton County for theft by shoplifting. That disposition date was June the 20th, 2024, and it's 10 days of confinement and 90 days of probation. And he does have an additional open probation case in Fulton County for theft by shoplifting. And I'm so sorry I didn't give you the case number for the first case in probation case in Fulton County. That case number is 24 CR 005248. And for the second case, that case number is 24 CR 004411 and the letter E. And that's for theft by shoplifting. That disposition date was July the 18th, 2024. 13 days of confinement and 12 months of probation. He does have one prior felony conviction. It's in 2017 out of Louisiana for aggravated battery. He does appear to meet the criteria for UJR level 3. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that's my case. this defendant is not only a reoffender, but a violent one. This incident before you today took place on the 11th. So that was yesterday, Sunday, specifically at 2420 Piedmont Road. That's the Lindbergh Station, MARTA Lindbergh Station. Between about 8:30 and 10:15 in the morning, MARTA officers responded because this defendant was seen on the platform screaming and yelling and disturbing the peace in general. Officers asked the defendant if he was all right, and he said he was fine. He's just screaming at himself. While officers were standing next to him, he started harassing a woman as she walked by. He was directed to exit the MARTA station at that point by Officer Bodson, B-O-D-S-O-N. He refused that command. He then jumped on the next southbound train to get away from police who followed him. He was told that they would need to get off together on the next stop, and he proceeded to tell the officer that he didn't know what her plan was, but he was getting off at the Garnett station, and if she was going to get him off or do anything with him, it was going to have to be by force. He then refused to exit the train when the next stop happened and resisted the police officer who had to take him to the ground. So not only do you have in front of you an obstruction and, criminal trespass, but you have a huge disruption of peace for people going about their business, a violent refusal by this defendant who literally has more cases than I can count just from 2023 and 2024 for the same type of behavior. He has a felony conviction out of Louisiana. It was originally a murder in the second degree. He was allowed to plead guilty to aggravated battery. He has convictions for violating a protective order, including multiple battery family violence cases and burglary cases. But since he's been in Georgia, it's mostly been shoplifting and criminal trespassing and drug objects and disorderly. He was just sentenced and served 13 days credit for time served and put on probation on July the 18th. Of this year, not even a month ago. What I see in the system is that he's got a $3,000 surety bond, Your Honor. We would request that surety bond stay in place. Right now, he's got 3 charges, so we would ask for $3,000 on each of those charges. And obviously to stay away from MARTA, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons on his person.
Okay. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, my client, Mr. Tyler, is 33 years old, and he has been here in Georgia for about a year. He has been homeless. He is not employed as of now. And he graduated from high school in Louisiana, though. And Your Honor, he does have a mailing address at First Presbyterian Church. We are asking social worker to have a visit to do BHET, and we have to go from there, Your Honor. We would like to request for signature on bond through pretrial level 4. Thank you.
All right. For each charge, it's going to be a $500 good bond. So it makes for a total of a $1,500 good bond. Stay away from MARTA. He needs to have a social worker visit and a BHET. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Ms. Kim, if you'll make sure that that's done before August 27th, which is the SAP reset date, so that you all can report back at that time, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Tyler. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, can we go to 3 South?
Okay.
That's going to be Mr. Patrick Williams. He's position
24.
Yeah, that is correct. Position 24. And can I tell Officer Milton, go log on to the felony, please? They're waiting for your felony. I'll take care of Ms. Dixon. I can't hear you, Milton.
I will have to leave this, log out from here.
Log on from here. I'll let you know what happened with Ms. Dixon.
Thank you.
All right.
Up there.
Yes.
Okay. So, good afternoon, Mr. Williams. You've been charged in case 24 CR 005637G with criminal trespass. Is there a history?
Yes, 16 cycles. The last arrest was June the 6th, 2024, with the city of Atlanta for entering an automobile with the intent to commit a theft. That charge was dismissed on July the 1st, 2024. He does appear to have open cases pending, one in DeKalb County for Terroristic Threats Act and interference with government property and simple battery. And he appears to have an open case pending in Fulton County for theft by shoplifting. That case number is 22 CR 002431. And he appears to be on probation in Fulton County for criminal damage to property in the second degree and Terroristic Threats Act. That case number is 21 SC 179341. That disposition date was February the 7th, 2022, and the term is for 5 years. He does have prior misdemeanor convictions, one in 2022 out of DeKalb County for criminal trespassing, one in 2018 for criminal trespassing. Nothing in addition, Your Honor. Oh, I'm sorry, he does appear to meet the criteria for a UJR level 3. Nothing in addition.
Sally?
Your Honor, this is from August the 10th. It's the location of this criminal trespass is the Chevron gas station at 1217 Metropolitan Parkway Southwest. Police responded at about 5:30 p.m. On a call that Mr. Williams was on the property. He was shirtless outside, causing trouble. Employees requested he be removed from the property, and he was detained. He'd been previously given a warning on June the 3rd, 2024, at the same location. You did just hear his criminal history. He is on probation now. He has an open felony case for terroristic threats and criminal damage to property in the second degree. He has a conviction for robbery by intimidation. I should note that his probation revocations are numerous on that case. And at one point, the documents say he needed to be supervised by a mental health community service officer. This gentleman is not going to follow the law and stay out of trouble. In fact, he wouldn't leave the Chevron. So we would join any request for a BHET from the defense, Your Honor. We would request a stay away from the location. He already has a $600 bond. We would ask for a $1,000 bond, Your Honor, and to stay away from the location of drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
Mr. McLean?
That's not going to be mine.
This is my
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Cook. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor, given the history, we have no objection to a BHET. We think it's probably a wise path and a stay away. Of course, no drugs, alcohol, weapons or firearms. He has few resources, if any. So we'd be asking for a surety bond at the lowest level the court deems appropriate.
Okay. It'll be $1,000 good bond, a BHET, stay away from the Chevron on Metropolitan Parkway, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Williams. Okay.
Your Honor, all we have left are breakouts. It's going to be position 7, Mr. Sterling Dix, position 8, Ms. Tasia Dixon, position 10, Mr. David Ellaby, position 15, Mr. Ricardo Mims, position 20, Mr. Calvin Reed, I believe.
Okay. So I guess pretty much everyone needs to go into a breakout room with me. So I guess
Except for
we'll, And do we have, and there were, so, myself, well, courtroom two, if we go into a breakout with, Mr. Cook, you need to be in the breakout, right?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
No?
No.
Okay, so let's see, Ms. Kim, Ms. Allen, Ms. Desiano, Mr. McLean, I guess, and myself.
Right.
Ms. Kim, is that correct? I know.
Yeah, they already did.
Okay.
Is there a Miss Tally Dixon on the Zoom? Tally Dixon.
Hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I'm about to add you to the Zoom, to the breakout to speak with the judge. So when you see that, just accept the breakout, please, okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Miss Monica Newton. Monica Newton.
Okay, we're back. Officer, Norris, are you with me? Courtroom 2. Ms. Newton, I see you there. I don't know if you can hear us, but, we were trying to raise you earlier. Are you still with me? Maybe not. So Norris, let me go over, the ones that we did in the breakout room if you'd like me to.
Okay, do you want me to bring them up to the chair or?
Yeah, if they're there, position 7, Sterling Dix, or if they can hear me, that you don't have to bring them up if you don't want to,
Okay,
as long as they can hear me. Sterling Dix, can you raise your hand for me?
raise your hand. Try to raise your hand, Dix. Just raise your hand all the way up. The judge. No, all the way up, all the way up. I got you. He just.
Okay, that's fine. I can see him. I can see him. He's all right.
Good.
It's going to be $1,000 good bond per charge, which makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond. A BHET, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, and, stay away from the Taco Bell on Haynesbridge Road. Okay, the next position is, Tasia Dixon. I believe she was at AC/DC. That was going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Tali Dixon. And comply with any physician recommendations and prescription medications. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. The next one was Mr. Position number 10, Mr. Ellerby. Is he in there?
Stand up.
Okay, I see him. I see him. So Mr. Ellerby, for the simple battery, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the obstruction, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. A BHET, no further violent contact with Monica Newton. Stay medication compliant. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. The next one was position 15, Ricardo Mims. Mr. Mims there.
Stand up,
Okay.
stand up.
All right, I see him. Mr. Mims, it's going to be a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Mr. Davis. Stay away from 275 Prior Street, BHET, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay, and I believe the final one, was that it? Oh, it's position 20, Calvin Reed. Okay, Mr. Reed, it will be for the criminal trespass, a $2,000 good bond. For the possession, a $1,000 good bond. It makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond. Stay away from the Shell gas station on Ponce de Leon. There's going to be a social worker visit and a BHET. Stay medication compliant and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay, I think that covers everyone. When Ms. Bridgewater is ready, we can go over the calendar.
Okay, for the benefit of you all that don't have the reset date for the SAP calendar, it is going to be August the 27th.
Can everybody hear? Yes, okay.
And Your Honor, I just have a quick question. I'm sorry, I think I missed it. On the Eberly case.
Yes.
Okay.
What was the contact order? Ellaby, excuse me?
No further violent contact with Ms. Newton.
Okay.
Okay. And it still seems as though she's with us, but maybe she's away from her camera.
I'm gonna try to communicate with her.
Okay, thank you.
I've tried to chat her as well.
Okay. And everyone can hear, Ms. Bridgewater?
Okay.
I'll take that as a yes. Okay.
Position number 1 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 2 is reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial.
Position 3, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 4, reset further notice $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 5, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 6, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. Position number 7 is on to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. 8, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 9 is going to the SAP calendar with a $500 good bond. 10, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 11, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 12, reset further notice with a total $6,000 SOB through pretrial. 13, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 14 is going to the SAP calendar with a $500 good bond. 15, SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. 16, SAP calendar with a total $3,000 split bond. 17 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 18, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 19, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 20 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. 21, SAP calendar with a total $1,500 good bond. 22, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through pretrial. 23, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through pretrial. 24 is going to the SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. And 25 is reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Okay, if not, y'all have a good rest of your afternoon. We will see you next time. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great one,
Thank you,
everyone.
Judge.
And someone's inquiring about number 8. Let's see, that is a $2,000 SOB through pretrial level 1. Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Have a good one.